Whenever someone decides that they want to set out to accomplish some sort of goal, their first question is always, how long is this going to take? How long will I have to work out before I'm super jacked? How long will I have to diet before I'm super ripped and have bulging abs? How long am I going to have to do work for before I'm a super millionaire? Anything along those lines. And as soon as they ask that question, they set themselves up for failure. Because what comes along with that question is, at what point is it okay for me to quit? How long do I have to commit myself to this before I can commit myself to not doing this any longer, or at the very least not trying as hard? And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how long something is going to take. If it's going to take you 5 weeks to get in the best shape of your life, or if it's going to take you 5 years to get in the best shape of your life, at the end of the day is all the same. Because regardless of what you are doing with your time, that time is going to pass by anyway. And 5 years from now will be 5 years from now. The only question is, are you going to have 5 years of workouts, 5 years of dieting, 5 years of work under your belt? Or are you going to have 5 years of procrastination and excuses and missed opportunities and looking back and thinking that you should have started earlier? Nothing is going to happen immediately. Everything takes work, and everything requires a time commitment. Such is life. But you trying to figure out how long it's going to take you or how quickly you can get to it, which is what it is that people actually want to know, is only setting you up to wind up quitting when it doesn't go your way. You can't control what you get out of the work that you put in. Sure, you could follow all of the necessary steps to getting in shape, and chances are that will get you in shape. As a matter of fact, it absolutely will get you in shape. But you also can't control the rate at which that happens. You can't control the rate at which your muscles grow. All you can do is influence it. The only thing that you have control over is the work that you put in. So what you should be focusing on, rather than what you're going to get out of the work that you put in, is putting the work in to begin with. Your goal should not be some sort of outcome. Your goal should be the process. If you go to the gym every single day and that is your goal, then you have accomplished your goal every single time that you step foot in the gym. You have won every time you complete a workout, as opposed to you putting off your winning until you start looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever it is that you would like to look like. And that will give you far more motivation to keep on going than having some nebulous date in your head, because there's a very good chance that this date could come and go and you won't be where it is that you would like to be yet. And all that's going to do is leave you feeling discouraged and thinking that it's not for you. There are so many people who do exactly that same thing. They start working towards something, feel that they have put in enough work, and then give up thinking that it didn't work for them. The gym just isn't for me. Dieting just isn't for me. This particular path to making money just isn't for me. When in reality, it's not for them. They just didn't do it long enough. They weren't consistent enough. They weren't dedicated enough, because they were too focused on what it is that they were getting out of it rather than what it is that they were putting into it. One of my things that I do is I wake up at the exact same time every single day. So every single time I wake up, I win because I have accomplished that goal. But people want to make their goals all kinds of other stuff around that. People want to make their goals getting up early so that they will magically become rich. It doesn't work that way. And every single time you get up early and you're not closer to being rich or not immediately rich, then you are going to feel discouraged from continuing to do that thing. But when your goal is simply to wake up, then you have won. That is the very first thing that you did. I go to the gym, I work out every single day. And that is one of my goals in and of itself. So every single time I work out, I accomplish a goal. My goal is not some nebulous or specifically defined result that I have at the end of this path. It is walking the path itself. And that is the person who, what's the saying? The person who loves walking will walk farther than the person who loves the destination. And that is the exact reason for that, because you are taking joy in the process. You are taking pride in the process. You are getting fulfillment from the process itself. And that is what motivates you to continue going. Whereas if you're just walking to get to the destination, then you have this end goal in mind, and everything in between is just something that you have to do to get there. And if your destination moves farther away, then you're going to lose that motivation, that drive, that desire to get there, because it's not where you thought it was going to be. Life is not a road trip. There is no set destination. And much like with the road trip, or unlike with the road trip, rather, if you're in California and you decide you want to get to New York, once you've gotten to New York, you have reached your destination, and you could stay in New York for the remainder of your life while doing nothing other than not moving. However, with your goals, it does not work the same way. All of these things are rented. You will never own any of your goals. If you go to the gym every single day and you diet properly and you get in shape, you get your big biceps and chest and all of that whatnot, and you get the abs, and then you stop working out like you've been working out and you stop dieting like you've been dieting, you will lose all of that shit. You don't just own it, you are renting it, and you have to pay rent on it every single day. The same thing with making money. You can go make $10 million tomorrow, but if you don't do what it takes to maintain and grow that money, eventually you will wind up broke again, because you don't own that money. Even if you don't spend a single penny of it, inflation will outpace what it is that you have, and that money, that same exact amount of money, will become worth less. So while you will still have the same net worth, your net worth will functionally be lower, because you did not continue on that same path to grow what it is that you had. You could start the greatest business in the world. You could build the next Google. But if you don't work to maintain and grow it, then that business is going to go by the wayside. You see what's happening with Apple now. People are sitting there talking about their complete lack of innovation, how they're not doing all of these other things, and with the AI and anything, or really upgrading their phones or any of their products like that. Because again, they got to the top position, and they just kind of coasted off of that. And if they don't do something, they will lose it eventually. I am not a tech person. I am not some super knowledgeable investment person. I am just someone who understands how life works. Everything requires maintenance. It does not matter what it is. You can spend your whole entire life going after the girl of your dreams, and you get that girl and you build a beautiful relationship. You get married, you start a family, you have a house, you have kids, pets, all of that whatnot. And if you don't do the work to maintain it, it will not continue to be what it was. It will not continue to give you what it was initially giving you, because what you get out of something is what you put into something. And there is not a single thing in life that you can do and just have and it just be that way forever. And that is another fault of focusing on how long something is going to take you, because you should not be looking at when you can ease up on the gas, or when you could take a break, or when you can slack off, or when you can slow down, or when you can maybe shift your focus to something else. You should be focusing on not how long it will take, but what you can do every single day. The steps along the path are much more meaningful than the destination in and of itself. And if you learn to take your pride in the steps along the path, if you learn to take pride in the process, then you will get much farther than you will just trying to get to some end date. That's the problem that people have with these 30-day, 60-day, whatever the case challenges is, because they say, I'm going to work out X number of times a week, I'm going to eat good, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to sleep in, I'm not going to do all of this stuff that's not good for you for only 1 month, and they have an end date in mind. And then when the end date comes, they go right back to doing what it was that they were doing to begin with, which means all of the work that they put in over the course of that 30 days was for nothing. All of these things are lifelong commitments. If you want to be in shape, that is a lifelong commitment. If you want to be lean, that is a lifelong commitment. You want to be rich, you want to have a good relationship, you want to be a good person, you want to be an honest person, which you should. All of these things are lifelong commitments. They're not something that you can just work towards and then have. This is not a sprint where you can just go super hard for a minute, get to the finish line, and then have won for forever. There is no finish line in life other than death. That's when you can stop trying at things, when you die. But until then, you're going to have to keep going, and you're going to have to keep pushing until you have until you're unable to push anymore, which is, once again, when it is that you are dead. So it doesn't matter how long something is going to take. It doesn't matter if it will take you 90 days to get the body of your dreams. It doesn't matter if it will take you 9 years to get the body of your dreams. The time is going to pass anyway. So you might as well start putting in the work now, because if you want something, if you have this thing in your mind that you want, that you know will enhance your life, in 9 years, you're still going to want it. In 90 days, you're still going to want it. And the longer that it's going to take, as a matter of fact, is the more reason that you should be starting currently, so that you can increase the amount of time that you get to have that thing. That will increase the amount of time you get to enjoy all of these experiences that come from you accomplishing whatever your goal is and continuing to maintain that, as opposed to you waiting for forever to get started. Procrastination is the killer of more dreams than almost anything else in this world. People love to put things off until tomorrow, but tomorrow is not a thing. The only thing that it ever has been and ever will be for the entirety of life is today. So regardless of how long it's going to take you, you should get started immediately, and you should get started today, and not worry about what you're getting out of the work, because the work in and of itself should be what it is that you get out of putting in the work. You get to do the thing. That's the privilege. That's the prize. And once people have been doing a thing for long enough, they learn that too. They learn that going and putting in the work, doing the workout, skipping the bad food, eating what it is that they should be, going on date nights and working long hours is the reward in and of itself. Because what's more important than the things that you get out of putting in the work is who you become from doing the work. Someone who is in shape is a certain type of person. Someone who has a bunch of money is a certain type of person. Someone who has an amazing relationship is a certain type of person. And the people who do not have these things do not have these things because they are not the type of people who can have these things. If fat people are fat because they're not the type of people who could be in shape. Poor people are poor because they're not the type of person who can be rich. And the way that you change these things and become that person is by doing the work, is by focusing on the journey, is by focusing on the steps that you're going to take and letting what comes from that come from that. The universe is very giving, and it will always give you exactly what you show it that you want. And the way that you show it that you want something is by doing the work. So stop worrying about how long something is going to take. Stop worrying about when you're going to reach your goals, and shift your perspective. If you want to be in shape, your goal should be to work out, not to get in shape. If you want to be lean, your goal should be to stick to a diet, not to be lean. If you want to make money, your goal should be to do work, not specifically make money. All of these other things will come from that. They are byproducts of what it is that you do. But what it is that you do is the point. What it is that you do is the reward. Everything else is just bonuses.